Michael thought his grief was finally healing. 3 years after Sarah's death, he'd moved to Portland for a fresh start. On his first day in the new neighborhood, he went to borrow sugar from next door. The woman who opened the door made his blood freeze. It was Sarah, his dead wife, very much alive. But when he said her name, she looked terrified and slammed the door. What had happened during those 3 years she was supposed to be dead? Michael stood frozen at the door. His heart was beating wildly. He couldn't believe his eyes. That was definitely Sarah. Same face, same voice, same hair. But how could it be possible? He knocked on the door again. This time there was no answer. "Sarah, Sarah, it's me, Michael," he shouted. The curtains in the house moved. Someone was watching him. Michael went home and took out his phone. He was going to call the police. But what would he say? My dead wife is living as our neighbor. He couldn't sleep that night. The next morning, he woke up early and started watching the house across from his window. At 8 o'clock, the door opened and Sarah came out. But she was wearing completely different clothes. Her hair was cut differently. She took her bag and got into the car. Michael immediately jumped into his own car and started following her. Sarah, or whoever she was, went to a hospital. She put on her scrubs and went inside. She was working as a nurse. Michael entered the hospital and approached the reception. "Hello, I'm looking for Emma Wilson," he said. "Nurse Emma?" "Yes. She works on the 3rd floor." Emma. Her name was Emma now. Michael went up to the 3rd floor. He saw Sarah, Emma, in the corridor. He walked towards her. "Sarah." The woman turned, and when she saw Michael, her face turned white. Who are you?" she stammered. "I'm Michael, your husband. I thought I lost you 3 years ago." Emma looked around. Other nurses were there too. You're confusing me with someone else. I'm Emma Wilson. Can I help you?" "Sarah, stop this game. Why did they say you were dead? Why were you listed as missing?" Emma started running away in panic. Michael followed her. "Sarah, stop!" Emma ran to the security guard. "This man is bothering me. Help me!" The security guard stopped Michael. "Sir, please leave the hospital." Michael looked at Emma desperately. The woman was almost crying. "Emma, your real name is Sarah Mitchell. You were married to me for 5 years. 3 years ago, you were said to have died in a car accident." Emma shook her head. No, I'm Emma Wilson. I'm David Wilson's wife." "Who is David?" "My husband. We've been married for 2 years." Michael was confused. Sarah, Emma, really seemed not to know him. That evening, Michael took out Sarah's old photos. He looked at the last photo on his phone. They were their last selfies before the car accident. The next day, he went to the hospital again. This time, he decided to approach more calmly. When he saw Emma alone in the cafeteria, he sat next to her. "I'm sorry, I scared you yesterday, but I really know someone who looks a lot like you." Emma spoke uncomfortably. "Sometimes people look alike. Have you ever experienced memory loss?" Emma's face changed. "Why did you ask?" "Because the person I know, that person disappeared 3 years ago, and you look very much like her." Emma silently drank her coffee. I had a very bad accident 3 years ago." Michael's heart raced. "What kind of accident?" "Car accident. I hit my head very badly. I was in a coma for 6 months. When I woke up, I couldn't remember anything." "Nothing at all?" "No. My identity, my past, my family, nothing. The doctors said these types of cases were very rare." Michael's breath caught. "So have you ever heard the name Sarah Mitchell?" Emma shook her head. "No. When I woke up, only David was with me. He told me I was Emma." "Who exactly is David?" "My husband. But sometimes it seems strange." "How so? Like he doesn't know me very well. Sometimes I ask him questions about our past, and he gives vague answers." A terrible suspicion came to Michael's mind. "Emma, where do you know David from?" "He was with me when I woke up after the accident. He told me about our love, our marriage." "What about your marriage documents?" "David has them. He handles the legal matters." Michael looked into Emma's eyes. "Emma, I want to show you something." He took out his phone and showed Sarah's photo. Emma looked at the photo and was shocked. This is me. Yes, this is you. But your name was Sarah Mitchell." Emma's hand started trembling. "This is impossible." "Emma, I can show you other photos. Our wedding photos, honeymoon pictures." Emma started crying. No, this can't be." "Emma, do you want to learn the truth?" Emma looked up at Michael. Do you really know who I am?" "You are Sarah Mitchell, my wife, and I missed you so much." That evening, Emma came to Michael's house. Michael showed her photo albums. This is our wedding photo. This is our honeymoon. This is also our last Christmas. Emma looked at each photo with amazement. But I don't remember these. Your memory loss must be very severe. So why was I counted as dead? Michael opened a file on the table. This is the accident report I got from the police. Your car fell into the canal. A burned corpse was found inside the vehicle. It was too damaged for DNA testing, but your purse and license were in the car. So whose body was that? I don't know, but someone wanted to show you as dead. Emma spoke thoughtfully. David said he found me in the hospital, but maybe he brought you there. But why? Why would he do such a thing? Michael began telling Emma about 3 years ago. You worked at an accounting firm. You had discovered a big fraud. You told me about your concerns about this. What kind of fraud? One of your company's partners, David Wilson, was stealing large amounts of money. Emma's face turned white. David Wilson? This is my husband's name. Yes, and you were about to expose him. Emma stood up. So he tried to kill me? It seems so. But he failed. Instead, he gave you another identity. But why didn't he kill me? Maybe he really loved you, or maybe he wanted to keep you under control. Emma started crying. I've been living in lies for 3 years. Michael approached her. Sarah, you can regain your real identity. But David, what will he do? We'll go to the police together. Emma shook her head in fear. No, if he really tried to kill me, I'll protect you. That night, Emma stayed at Michael's house, but towards morning she disappeared. When Michael woke up, he found a note. Michael, everything is very complicated. I need to talk to David. If I'm really Sarah, I'll try to remember. Michael anxiously went to Emma's house, but the house was empty. He saw one of the neighbors. Where is the Wilson family? They left early this morning, with big suitcases. Michael panicked and called the police. My wife is missing. My wife who was counted as dead is alive and now missing. The police had difficulty understanding the story. But Michael had photos and documents. Commissioner Johnson examined the file. Mr. Mitchell, these are very serious accusations. Sarah Mitchell is really on death records. But she's alive. She's living as Emma Wilson. Do you know David Wilson? He was my wife's former client. She was going to accuse him of fraud. Are you saying he's behind this? I'm sure. The police began investigating David Wilson. There was no one named David Wilson in the records. He was using a fake identity. His real name was Derek Walsh, and he had many criminal records. A week later, the police caught Derek, but he wasn't with Emma. Where is Emma? Michael asked. Derek smiled. Emma? She's my wife, and she's in a very safe place right now. Her real name is Sarah Mitchell, and she's my wife. Sarah is dead 3 years ago. You tried to kill her. Derek asked for his lawyer. But that night, Michael received an unexpected phone call. Michael, I'm Sarah. Sarah, where are you? Are you okay? I remember everything. Derek kidnapped me, but I managed to escape. Where are you? A motel. I'm coming to see you. An hour later, Sarah appeared at Michael's door, but she looked very different. She had lost a lot of weight and there was fear in her eyes. Sarah, is it really you? Sarah hugged Michael, crying. Yes, I remember everything. Derek tried to kill me that night. What happened? He pushed my car into the canal, but I managed to swim. Derek found me in the forest. When he saw I wasn't dead, he made another plan. What kind of plan? He took me to the hospital. He made a deal with the doctors. They gave me drugs. They erased my memory. For 3 years, I lived as Emma, but in the last week, my memory started coming back. Michael hugged Sarah tightly. You're safe now. But Sarah was worried. Derek is in prison, but he has partners. But was great. They might find me. I talked to the FBI. They'll put you in the witness protection program. Sarah shook her head. No, I don't want to run. I want my real life back. In the following weeks, Sarah's story caused a great stir in the media. The crimes committed by Derek and his partners were revealed. It was announced that Derek would be tried for attempting to murder Sarah, giving false identity, and defrauding millions of dollars. Why? Sarah was trying to rebuild her life with Michael. We lost 3 years, Sarah said one evening. But you came back. That's what matters. But I'm different now. I was someone else for 3 years. You're still my Sarah, but living as Emma, that was real too. There were some beautiful moments in that life. Michael stopped. With Derek? No, not with Derek, but being a nurse, patience. I loved that. You can continue being a nurse, but with fake diplomas. The real Sarah never became a nurse. Sarah was experiencing an identity crisis. The memories of both Sarah and Emma were mixing in her head. She started going to therapy. Dr. Martinez explained to her, "This is a very rare condition. You actually develop two different personalities. Are both real? Both are parts of you. Now you need to integrate them." After months of therapy, Sarah learned to accept both her old and new identity. I'm neither just Sarah nor just Emma anymore. I'm a mixture of both. Michael supported this process. Whoever you are, I love you as you are. Sarah enrolled in nursing school. This time she would get a diploma legally. Derek's trial lasted 8 months. He was finally sentenced to life in prison. Sarah had testified at the trial. Derek stole my life. For 3 years, I lived without knowing who I was, but I'm strong now, and what he did won't break me. After the trial, Sarah and Michael got married, both as Sarah Mitchell and Emma Wilson. Double identity with double wedding. Now my past and present are united, Sarah said after putting on the wedding dress. 2 years later, Sarah founded an association that helped other women who were victims of Derek. There are other women who have been given false identities, whose memories have been erased. She told Michael, "How will you help them?" By sharing my experience and helping them overcome identity crisis. Sarah's association grew. The media drew attention to this issue. On a television program, Sarah said, "I was someone else for 3 years, but this didn't break me. It strengthened me because now I know how valuable life is." How did you feel when you regained your memory? Fear, because I had 2 different lives, but then I realized both were real. Did you forgive Derek? No, but I'm not angry at him anymore, because hate makes me sick. 5 years later, Sarah and Michael had a daughter. They named her Emma Sarah. Why Emma? Michael asked. Because Emma is also part of me, and thanks to her, I learned to be a nurse. As their daughter grew up, Sarah told her the truth. "Mom, why do you have 2 names? Because life sometimes makes us different people, but the important thing is not to forget who we are. You'll never get lost, will you?" Sarah hugged her daughter. "No, sweetheart, I'll never get lost again." 10 years later, Derek died in prison. Sarah was informed. "How do you feel?" Michael asked. "Empty. There's no fear or anger anymore. Just, it's over. Now you're truly free." "Yes, now I'm just Sarah and Emma, and both together." Sarah expanded her association. It was now an international organization. "False identity giving in memory loss cases is increasing," she said at a conference. "How can this be prevented?" Stricter control in hospitals and making DNA tests mandatory for families. When Sarah's daughter Emma grew up, she decided to study medicine. "Why do you want to be a doctor?" "Because I want to help people like you, people who have lost their memories." Sarah was proud. "You'll be stronger than me, because you taught me to be strong." 15 years later, Sarah was 50 years old. She was now completely at peace. "Do you regret it?" Michael asked one evening. "Regret what?" "Those 3 years, the lost years." Sarah thought, "No, because those years made me who I am today. Being Emma gave me a different perspective. Which identity do you love more?" "Both, because I am both." That night, Sarah wrote in her diary, 18 years ago, Derek tried to kill me, but he failed, not just physically, but spiritually too, because I came back stronger. Sarah and Emma united, and now nothing can break me." Sarah closed the diary and lay down next to Michael. "What are you thinking about?" Michael asked. "Being grateful, because I came back from death. Twice. Twice? Once from Derek's attack, once from identity crisis." Michael hugged Sarah. "And now you're really here." "Yes, now I'm really here," Sarah and Emma together. And as Sarah closed her eyes, she knew that no power could ever separate her from her true identity again. Because true identity is not just names. True identity is the entirety of the life lived. And Sarah's life was now complete and whole. But the story didn't end here. As Sarah's association grew, it discovered more victims. One day, a 28-year-old woman came to her clinic. Her name was Lisa. "Dr. Sarah, I also experienced memory loss like you, but my situation is more complex." "How more complex?" Lisa started crying. "Because I used 5 different identities, and I remember all of them." Sarah was surprised. 5 different identities? "Yes. Jennifer, Amanda, Rebecca, Nicole, and Lisa. I lived a different life in each one." How is this possible? The man who kidnapped me sold me to different families in different cities. Each time I was given a new identity. When Sarah heard the story, she was horrified. What she experienced was just the tip of the iceberg. Were you able to catch this man? No, because he's part of a very large organization. There are many men like Derek. Sarah shared this information with the police. The FBI started cooperating with Sarah's association. Agent Morrison explained to Sarah, Derek's organization is much bigger than we thought. They kidnap women who have experienced memory loss and give them false identities. How many victims are there? We've identified more than 50 women so far, but there could be more. Sarah was shocked by this information. I thought I was just a single case. No, you're one of the lucky ones because you managed to escape. Sarah now started telling not just her own story, but the stories of all victims. In a documentary, she said, "What Derek did to me was part of a systematic crime. We don't know what happened to these women. What is your biggest fear? The women who are still out there. Maybe they're living like Emma right now and don't know their real identities." The FBI's operation lasted 2 years. 127 women were rescued. They were all living with different false identities. Sarah met with each of the rescued women individually. One of them, Maria, had been living as Helen for 10 years. Dr. Sarah, I don't remember my real identity. I only know Helen. This is normal. It took me 3 years too. But what if I never remember? Then you can choose to remain as Helen. The important thing is that you're free now, Maria cried. But my family might be looking for me. We'll do DNA tests. If there are missing person reports, we'll match them. Maria's family was found after 10 years. Her mother and father fainted when they saw her. Maria, my daughter, you were dead. But Maria didn't recognize them. I'm sorry, I'm Helen. The family reunification process was very difficult. Sarah also supported families during this process. Your daughter may not be like she used to be, but she's still your daughter. But she doesn't recognize any of us. It takes time. Be patient. Sarah's association was now known worldwide. She gave a speech at the United Nations. This type of crime is increasing. Technology is advancing, but crimes against humanity are also advancing. What should be done? International cooperation and mandatory DNA testing in memory loss cases. Sarah's daughter Emma was now 15 years old. She was curious about her mother's work. Mom, why do you work so much? Because there are still missing women out there. They also deserve to be reunited with their families. But you never rest. Emma, I'm lucky. I found your father and you, but other women's families are waiting for them. Emma hugged her mother. You're very strong, Mom. You'll be strong too. This because strong women support each other. Sarah's work was so effective that the Sarah Protocol began to be implemented in memory loss cases. This protocol included mandatory DNA testing, family investigation, psychological evaluation, identity verification process. Dr. Martinez explained to Sarah a protocol in your name. This is a great honor. I don't want honor. I just want other women not to suffer. On the 20th anniversary of Sarah's rescue, a big conference was organized. More than 200 rescued women came. They all thanked Sarah. Maria said, if there was no Dr. Sarah, I would still be living as Helen. I would never have met my family. Another woman, Jessica, added, I lived as Amy for 8 years. Now I'm both Jessica and Amy, and I've accepted both. In her speech, Sarah said, we all survived, not just physically, but spiritually too, because we regained our identity. What gives you the most strength? Unity, because we're not alone. We all fought the same fight. That night, Sarah talked to Michael at home. It's been 20 years. Do you still think about Derek? Not at all anymore. He's my past. You and Emma are my future. What about your Emma identity? She's also part of me. Now I'm Sarah Emma, a complete person. Michael smiled. I love Sarah Emma too. Not just Sarah? No, because if there was no Emma, you wouldn't be this strong. Sarah's association now operated in 50 countries. It helped thousands of women every year. One day, Sarah received a letter from Japan. Dear Dr. Sarah, I'm Yuki. 5 years ago, I was reunited with my family thanks to your protocol. Now, I've also established an association like yours in Japan. Sarah cried when she read this letter. A worldwide movement had now begun. When Emma went to university, she wanted to follow in her mother's footsteps. Mom, I'm going to study psychology too. I want to specialize in amnesia cases. You'll be stronger because you'll know from the beginning. What's your most valuable teaching to me? Sarah thought. Identity is not just a name. Identity is the entirety of the life you live. After Emma graduated, she joined her mother's association. Mother and daughter started working together. Isn't this strange? Emma asked. I carry the name Emma, but you were Emma. No. It's beautiful, because the Emma identity now lives in 2 generations. On the 25th anniversary of Sarah's rescue, some of Derek's former partners were caught. The FBI informed Sarah, the last members of the organization have also been caught. It's completely finished now. Are you sure? Yes. After a 25-year operation, we caught them all. Sarah was relieved. Now no woman will experience this pain. Thanks to you. You started this fight. That evening, Sarah celebrated with Michael and Emma. It's really over now, Sarah said. What will you do? Emma asked. I'll hand over the association to you and retire. Really? Yes, 25 years is enough. I want to live a normal life now. Michael was happy. Finally, it will just be the 3 of us. But Sarah's retirement didn't last long, because a new problem emerged. AI technology had advanced, and it was now possible to create fake memories. The FBI called Sarah again. Dr. Sarah, a new type of crime has emerged, implanting fake memories. How is this possible? With AI, they make people remember lives they never lived. Sarah was shocked. This is very dangerous. We need your experience. Sarah returned to the fight, but this time with Emma. Mom, this time we'll fight together. You're still very young, but I'm strong too because I learned from you. The mother-daughter team started fighting against new generation identity crimes. At Sarah's 60th birthday, Emma said, Mom, you never rested. I have time to rest, but first I need to finish this job. Does this job ever end? Sarah thought, maybe it doesn't end. But each generation is stronger. You're stronger than me. The next generation will be stronger than you. How can you be sure? Because truth wins every time. And we're on the side of truth. Sarah's last diary was found by Emma 30 years later. Today I turned 75. 30 years ago, Derek tried to kill me, but I not only survived, I grew. Sarah and Emma united, and now the name Emma lives in my daughter. Identity doesn't die. Identity continues in generations, and truth always wins. Emma cried after reading this diary. Then she smiled because her mother's fight would continue, and Sarah's identity would continue to live in Emma. True identity never dies. It just transforms and grows stronger.